Hello and welcome to tonight's League of Legends Roundup. We're going to cover the games that took place today in the four major regions, as well as cover the games that are going to take place tomorrow in the four major regions playoffs. If you're new to the channel, in the description you'll see a link to the Discord. You can come join us. We BS about the game as it's going on. Just go with the flow. And there's some banter there for sure. We have our opinions and we make calls early and we get hyperbolic and exaggerate because it's, troll culture and league culture and things like that. But trying to keep a level head with some of this. As well, you can predict who wins in there. I keep track, and we have a winner at the end. Forsland won the summer split. He had the best, they had the best win-loss or point total. So that's a thing. So I keep track of that. As well, September 1st, I'm going to start memberships on the YouTube channel. I don't know how much they're going to cost. I got to do the research this weekend about it because the Patreon really wasn't working for the esports betting thing. And I'm just going to do winner, loser in terms of who I think is going to win matchups and not do player over-unders because I have I'm hitting at 79, 80% for playoffs. I was hitting at 70% for the summer split. So I do a lot better at that than over-unders. But you're here for the roundup, so let's get into that. Top and JDG, start us off. This series was a banger. What we wanted it to be, a preview of what we may see at Worlds towards the end, semifinals, finals, depending on how, play groups goes and things like that. But complete banger. We may see this matchup again later in the week as the grand final. So Top won the first two games, both 14-2, and JDG came back, winning 3 straight. JDG, it was funny because it was oh geez, Jackie Love in game 2, or was it game 3? No, I thought it was game 2. He set a record for damage in a game, 92k damage, absolutely cracked. He would go 38, 18, and 32 for 40% of Top's damage. Knight 20, 15, and 47 on the losing side of the matchup. Hope 32, 15, and 32 with 32% of JDG's damage. And Kanavi 19, 24, and 45. Later on in the series, we found out that, putting Kanavi on Wukong brought them back into the series, got them to a game 5. And then they just took advantage of them. 369, although he's not listed here, had a great series, dominating Wayward more often than not. Couple different builds with Aatrox, and he pulled out a GP in game 4 that was very impactful. Honestly, JDG really showed up big here. Both of these teams are going to go to Worlds. If they don't, it's because of a catastrophe. Just absolute elite League of Legends. It's definitely a series that, honestly, I can't even do it justice going over it like this. You may want to go back and watch it for yourself, at least the highlight videos or just Game 5 in general. This type of series is just on a whole nother level. It really is. It's worthwhile. It's just how it is. And honestly, Rogue and Mad Lions, now these two teams, nowhere near as good as these two teams. Nowhere close. If you missed my power rankings on Thursday, I kind of explain why I feel that way. But very good series as well. Rogue coming back down 2-1, I believe, to win 3-2. Rogue had went 2-0 against Mad Lions during the summer split. Rogue just overcome their demons in the playoffs. Comp 27, 11, 29, 31% of Rogue's damage. Larson 21, 10, and 35 in mid. Unforgiven 25, 13, and 24 with 28% of Mad's damage. And Niski 20, 18, and 34 in mid. And he roughly had 28% of the team's damage as well. But Rogue, this was a tight series all the way to the bitter end. Game 5 was a tight game. For a long time there, it could have went either way. But Rogue pulled out some interesting picks in Game 5. Caitlyn Lux. We haven't seen Caitlyn Lux a lot at all. The only team that really pulls out Caitlyn every once in a while is Fnatic, and that's because Upset is on a whole nother level. But Rogue took that page out of the Fnatic book, played it, and it won them the series. Trimby played a great game. He led the team in damage on Lux, which was, kind of what Lux does. build damage on her, and she can really erase your health bar. But this locked them into Worlds. Some people are going to say, well, they're both going to Worlds. Well, it's better off you doing it yourself than someone else winning games for you to get in. Rogue won this outright. They were the better team today. They were the better team both times. I guess the first time Rogue beat Mad Lions, it was on coin flip. But the second time, Rogue won outright. So the fact of the matter is this. These two teams are close, but Rogue has come out ahead more often than not. And people have to, you got to accept that at some point. I think they're close. I think depending on the day, it could go either way. I honestly had Mad Lions winning this 3-2 in my predictions. I was wrong. I knew it was going to be tight, but it ended up happening that way. Just a great series. Honestly, Game 5 might be worth watching. Not so much as this. Like this here, that is elite League of Legends from Top and JDG. Just elite. You're not going to find that every day. Rogue and Mad Lions, you'll find that once every couple weeks, an elite matchup like this. Tomorrow we may see it. We'll get to that between TL and 100 Thieves, a very similar level of competition. But first, we got to get through. This is not the same level of competition. We drop off from here to here, and this is like the basement of competition, right? CLG and Golden Guardians. Now, I'll split long. I've been hard on CLG. I had CLG in the top 25 in week 2. They lost both games in week 3. I dropped them out, and I never brought them back. And somebody criticized me during the split, and a couple people have. When I put TSM above FlyQuest and CLG, I feel vindicated as hell after this. I had CLG winning this 3-0. And they dominated Game 5, don't get me wrong. It was 21-2. Contracts played an absolutely fantastic Trundle game. One of the better Trundle games you're going to see. But the fact of the matter is, this went to Game 5, and that's a problem if you are a CLG fan. So Luger, 23, 9 and 36, 35% of the team's damage, dealt a ton of damage in this game. Contracts, 21, 16, and 35 in the jungle. That Trundle game, he won 7, 1, and 8 or something in Game 5. Just absolutely incredible. His pillars were on point. Honestly, Palafox played a great Akali game when it mattered. Stixay, 25, 13, and 23, 38% of Golden Guardians damage. He had nearly 1,000 damage per minute on the entire series, which is pretty incredible through 5 games. You don't see that often. Jackie Love did it earlier today, but he also had literally 2,000 damage almost in a game, which is, 2,000 per minute, which is a record. But Stixay had a penta in Game 2 on Zeri. That's a Zeri thing. But he has a penta, which not a lot of 80 carries can say that this split. Not a lot of 80 carries can say it this season. And, that's something to hang your hat on if you're Stixay. But that's all Golden Guardians had. The next best stat line was a Blaze Olive, 14, 16, and 27. He had less kills than deaths. And that's not the end-all be-all of a player, but you would think that, someone else, if they went to Game 5, had to do something, and it wasn't the case. Stixay carried them. Ole played okay. Licorice honestly played pretty good against Dokla. Dokla isn't going to knock your socks off, and neither is Licorice, but Licorice solo killed Dokla at one point on a Poppy versus an Aatrox, which sticks out. Licorice pulled Poppy into top lane a second time. Hopefully we see more of that. I think that's interesting and a new caveat to drafts that other teams might want to start doing, just to flex it out and offer yourself more opportunities, especially when we're getting to the nitty-gritty of best of 5s, especially in these tighter matchups and regions. I think that flexing a pick like that even once forces the other team to have to respect it in the future. So that's a thing. CLG won Game 5 but 21-2 in kills. They smoke showed them, but the first 4 games were back and forth. You wouldn't believe they were close. I still have TSM above CLG and FlyQuest. Not to say any of them have a chance at Worlds, but the fact of the matter is I do think that these teams are all similar in power. Now, tomorrow, Misfits and G2. This is an interesting one. G2's locked in already. They are going to Worlds. Right now, of course, they could go and play in, or they could go in as a 1 or 2 seed. That still remains to be seen. However, they're 12-6, Misfits 10-8. Week 4, day 2, Misfits would win against G2 in a game that they should not have won. I believe kills was 13-18. Gold was very close. Just Misfits were able to coin flip a fight at the end, win it when it, in death timers and things like that, were able to actually end the game. Vatio 3-3-8, I believe, on a Corky. Week 8, day 2, G2 would win. Caps going 8-0-6 on a Silas, a very decisive win. I am leaning G2 on this one, Caps versus Vatio. I do want to emphasize that matchup, Vatio being the star on one side, Caps on the other. Neon has turned it up lately, and honestly, Flackett isn't really, knocking the world down or anything. Like, he's not going to, dominate in bot lane. Targamas, on the other hand, he could cause Neon some problems. So, honestly, I think G2 is going to have this series pretty easily. By how much? After the CLG, GG nonsense, I don't want to, put a price tag on it, really. Patreon has the price tag, but do not join the Patreon, because I am not going to do content after a couple days from now, at least on there. So, Misfits, G2. G2 has this. Broken Blade over Irrelevant easily. Yankos over Zanzara. Well, Zanzara could get weird, I guess. He's going to eat up bans, but I would hope that G2's prepared for it after 2 weeks. Caps versus Vatio is definitely the matchup to watch. We'll see what happens with that. TL versus 100 Thieves. Now, this is the matchup that's very similar to this one. You have two teams that I have 15th and 19th in the power rankings. TL 12-6. 100 Thieves 14-4. Week 3, day 1, 100 Thieves would win. FBI going 4-1-4. Week 8, day 3, 100 Thieves would win. Abadage going 7-0-7. I highlight Bwipo versus Someday. So the deal is with this, I feel like TL needs Bwipo to play at his best. And when he's at his best, TL certainly is, at worst, the second best team in the LCS. Now, if he pulls out the Olaf, they're going to have trouble. The Olaf pick was okay at first, but the Olaf pick is really coin flippy, and Bwipo is too damn good to have to do that, honestly. Bjergsen, I think TL should win a best of 5 against 100 Thieves. I think 100 Thieves play really solid League of Legends. If you make mistakes, they will beat you. That's without a doubt. But TL should be in a playoff form, you would hope, given their roster, given the stardom there, and the veterans that they have. This is no new thing for them. Same thing with the 100 Thieves. Both of these teams have been here before. This is not new to either of them. So, I believe it's going to go 5 games, and we'll see who takes it. I think it could go either way, but if Bwipo can respect the matchup, play counters that make sense, that aren't too cringe, they have a good shot, I think. Maybe he's inspired by 369's Gangplank, and you see Bwipo pull out a Gangplank. That would be interesting. I will say that 100 Thieves pulled out Seraphine Bot the last time they played TL and really beat the crap out of TL in this one, the Week 8, Day 3 match. So that is something to monitor, because former mid laner, is capable of doing a lot of different things, right? So it does give 100 Thieves a opportunity. However, Core on the opposite side, world champion, so that you got to take that into account. But it'll be a tight one. It'll be a tight one just like that. So thank you for watching this video. Like it if you like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Like I said, join the Discord. We talk about the games as they go on, and BS in the text channel. Sometimes there are watch parties. Look out for YouTube memberships starting next month. I will be doing those, and I don't know what it's going to entail. It's going to definitely entail some content that, is special for people that are into, like, betting on who's winning, losing games, and NFL stuff as well. I'm going to do NFL betting, American football, just like winners, losers of games, point spread, things like that. So if you like that sort of stuff, become a member. Like the video if you like it, like I said, and thank you for watching.